finally has been a new update on the new Peacock Halloween TV series. Let's get to it.
I'm done with you. Now you seek the truth again, it's not for you. Don't you dare to congregate, I'm right for you. Plastic faces everywhere, made just for you.
What's up again, Hollywood Horror Film Club, Ghostface, and Michael Myers collectors? Thank you for joining me here on the channel on another video. This time for the new update for the Halloween TV series coming up. But before we start, please hit the like and subscribe button. It really helps us out in the algorithm. Hit the comments below. Share these videos with everyone, anyone you know, so we can keep making more horror content here on the channel. And let's begin. So it was announced like about maybe 2-3 days ago, I think. Like I said, I was kind of sick, so I couldn't make any videos, but now I'm getting better. There was news reported that there is a big update on the Halloween TV series coming up for Peacock. And from what I've heard is that it's a creative reset they're talking about. They're talking about a creative reset. It says here on this article that it's completely going back to the original film. They're going back to the original film as opposed to spinning out any other sequels from recent adaptations that have been made in the Halloween franchise. So yeah, that basically means they're going back to the original 1978 Halloween movie directed by John Carpenter, starring Jamie Lee Curtis, Donald Pleasence. They're going back there again. And I guess they're gonna, try to develop a story within that time frame again. I'm really curious though to what they're gonna do. It's so mysterious, right? Like this is so it's almost like everything's been done with Halloween to this point. Like it's like, damn, what could they even do next with this? I've seen people suggest that they're gonna go back and explore Loomis's younger years when he's trying to get to Michael, cure him or whatever, from his mental psychopathy that he's got. And that again to me sounds like a lot of Rob Zombie stuff again. Like we've been there, done that already. Like we really need to see Loomis again, like and Michael when he's younger, like we've already seen that before. And that's why I'm worried about this creative reset thing. Is like I don't want to see just Loomis and young Michael. That's gonna be kind of boring, and it was kind of boring too in the Rob Zombie movie. The whole Smiths Grove thing, they dragged it on too long. And imagine a TV series that the TV series are like per episode. So imagine how long that'll drag on. Hell no. So what I'm thinking is, if they're going back to the original 78 movie, why don't they just when Michael gets shot out of the balcony, the Doyle balcony from the Doyle house, and Loomis looks out the window and he's gone. They could pick up from there. They could straight pick up from there. Oh, if you didn't see, I'm wearing a Michael shirt. They could pick up from there and either say that Michael continues the night, and never mind what happened in the Halloween Kills flashback. That was just their interpretation of Michael going back to the house and then, getting apprehended outside the house. That was just David Gordon Green's version of what he thought happened after that. But if they're going to do a creative reset and go back to the original 78 movie, then they could, after Michael gets shot, they could either continue the night. We follow Michael into another alley. He's all bloody and stuff, and then he starts going into houses again and killing people. Well, we could get the Tom Jones Jr., who played Dr. Loomis in the flashback scenes, to come back and play Loomis. You know, they could continue it like that. Continue the night. Add new characters. Add new characters that were only mentioned in the first movie, but we never saw, like Ben Tramer and who is it? Annie's boyfriend. We never saw him, Paul, right? We only heard him on the phone. You know, you could show him reacting to her death. You know, continue the night, and the movie could take place, you know, right there the whole night. Continue the whole night, or what they could do is after Michael gets shot, fast forward a few years and make another kind of Halloween 2, you know, an alternate Halloween 2 again. They could say Michael got shot and he ran off, and he came back a few years later again to Haddonfield, you know, to get his revenge, you know. They could set and that'll be good too, because they could set Michael Myers in the 80s now, you know, finally leaving the 70s and entering the 80s if they do it like that. But if they continue the night, they could also spin off a sequel, you know. They could continue the night in the beginning of the movie. Loomis is still looking for Michael. Michael goes in a few houses again, kills a few more people that we didn't see in the first movie. And after that, probably shoots him again and wounds him really bad that Michael can't continue and has to escape. And then from there, bam, we fast forward either into modern time or into the 80s, you know. But I would prefer the 80s though. So you could spin off a sequel either way. I would prefer them going back into the 80s, because we never really saw Michael Myers in the 80s. When Halloween 2 came out, it was in 1981, but the film still, it's story-wise in universe, the timeline was still in 1978. So even though the film came out in 1981, we never really saw Michael Myers actively be a serial killer in the 1980s, you know, going off the original Halloween, you know. Because Halloween 2 still takes place the same year, 1978. It just came out in 81. So yeah, that could be great for Halloween, in my opinion. Is they could do that, because I don't like I said earlier, I don't want to see Dr. Loomis and Michael right there doing their little psychiatric bullshit. That shit gets boring, dude. Like I want to see Michael killing people. I want to see him stalking people around the neighborhood, in the forest or something, you know, an abandoned building and stuff like that, you know, on Halloween. And Halloween just hit different in the 80s, you know. It was just creepier for some reason, you know. There was more active serial killers back then, you know, so it really brought that that fear factor, you know, that scare factor to real life, you know. Because Michael is like some kind of like weird force of nature, you know, that can't be stopped, you know. So like Dr. Loomis shooting him and hurting him, yeah, he's gonna be mortally wounded for a bit, but he'll heal up and return, you know. Then, well, a better time would be is, you know, the 80s, when there was actual real serial killers roaming around in the streets, you know, like Richard Ramirez, Jeffrey Dahmer, and all that stuff, Ted Bundy, all that crazy stuff. So they could probably incorporate some of that real life stuff into the TV series. But they could probably also even have some like little side stories about creepy stuff that happens in Haddonfield, also kind of like almost like Stranger Things, you know. So we could save some Michael, and you could have, you know, all the creepy stuff going on in Haddonfield. You could have a group of teens or college kids, you know, like digging into the history of Haddonfield and its Celtic history, and why Halloween is such a powerful force in that town, and what makes people go mad, you know, and become killers in that town. They could explore all that stuff too. But yeah, it's just the whole Michael and Loomis thing, going back to like Loomis's younger days, trying to, you know, get to Michael. That's we have already seen that too much already. You know, I would rather see something. If they're gonna go off 78 again, like I said, they gotta make something that's gonna hold up. You know, that's gonna be fun to watch. That is gonna be Halloween. You know, like I said, other creepy stuff could be happening around Haddonfield. You know, they could probably bring in the Silver Shamrock storyline finally and bring them together in the same timeline. You know. you could finally say that Michael got his, you know, the evil comes, some of the evil comes from that stone thing that Cochrane had in Halloween 3, you know, that you know, it was absorbed by the masks, and you know that's what creates people to become evil and kill. You know, they could do a lot. They could do a lot still. They could do. I know I said in the beginning it felt like almost everything's been done with Halloween, but I guess with the TV series, yeah, you could explore some weird little side stories of creepy stuff going around the town in Haddonfield, and then make Michael like the big main villain. You know, the big main villain that here make it like every Halloween he returns. So make like a bunch of weird little creepy stuff going around Haddonfield up until the night he returns. But no Michael and Loomis, please, being in Smith's Grove again. That's just boring. They could have flashbacks of that. I wouldn't mind flashbacks of someone remembering, but to base the TV series just on that, I wouldn't like it. I would like it if they would either continue the night after Michael is shot from the Tommy Doyle's balcony in Halloween 1978, continue the night from there, or they could make a sequel that takes place a few years later after 78. You know, they can make a sequel because if it's gonna be a reset, then it could be like it could be like a new sequel to 78 in a way, you know. And that brings Michael into the 80s because they said that they're not making any of the other movies canon again. So yeah, so they're just going off 78 again, like David Gordon Green kind of did too. So they're just going off 78 again. So yeah, you could make a brand new Halloween too in a way. So, you know, like I said, bring Michael to the 80s finally. I've been hearing a lot of people talk about for a while that they want to see a movie where Michael Myers is, you know, killing and stalking in the 1980s. You know, they don't want to see him in modern day. They want to see a young Michael again, you know, fresh face, you know, not all hairy and wrinkly face like he was in the new ones that came out recently. Yeah, people want a young Michael again, strong, you know, like in the flashback scene in David Gordon Green's. And you know, and a lot of people are really nostalgic for that old style vintage horror movie, you know, an old vintage style horror movie like that set in the 80s, you know. It's awesome because there's a lot of 80s media right now. Stranger Things, a lot of 80s movies coming out, like Lisa Frankenstein, that was set in the 80s as well. I saw a few trailers of more movies coming out set in the 80s. Yeah, dude, the Crystal Lake TV series that's coming out also, I think it might take place like in the beginning, might be like set in the 50s or 60s or something like that, when around the time Jason drowns, you know. So there's all that nostalgia to go back to the past and explore things that we never saw in the original movies. What else do they got here? Yeah, that's pretty much it. Yeah, they're going off the original movie, and I wonder what they got up their sleeve, you know. I wonder what they're gonna do. This one is really like, this one really makes you think, yeah, because Michael is a very you gotta be careful with Michael Myers. You gotta do it right, you know. Can't just be, you know, screwing around with that character like that, because people get mad, dude, when they don't see the interpretation they want to see. Yeah, but I can't wait to see what they do though. I'm waiting for it. Yeah, but anyway, Hollywood Horror Film Club, thanks a lot for joining me here on the channel again. This time for the Halloween TV series Peacock update. Like I always say, please hit the like and subscribe button. It really helps us out in the algorithm. Share these videos with anyone and everyone you know so we can keep making more horror content here on the channel. Comment below if I got anything wrong, or if you want to just comment something. And thank you for joining me here on the channel. Really appreciate it. And the Ghostface the Scream fan film will drop on April 12th, 2024. Thank you so much again. See y'all next time.